Yeah, it's the thing that people say, right? Like I haven't been to the cycle yet, but once you have an exit or whatever, it's like they go lay on the beach for 3 months, then they're like, holy crap, my life is boring. Let me come back into work.
Chapter 11, I talk about this. I actually joke that most entrepreneurs, if they sold their company, would be laying poolside, and by 1 o'clock, they would have a new idea for a lawn chair and hire the pool guy as their first employee. It's just what we do.
Have you been through a cycle like that? Have you gone and taken time off?
Oh, that's a great question. So I sold my first company when I was 28. And I would say I tried, right? Like I moved to San Francisco. I wanted to learn. I was retired, sabbatical. So I took, after I sold the company, I took 4 months off and like partied like it was 1999. Okay, like bought a cottage, boat, all that fun stuff, built a new house. And that was cool. But the problem is that I could clearly see that one day, if I kept this trend line going, I would wake up. There was this guy in my hometown growing up named Norm. He was like the 40-year-old man with young girls around all the time. I could see a path to being Norm. So I was like, I gotta go because I don't want to wake up one day and just have like gray chest hair and a tan and all that stuff. And so I moved to San Francisco. And even in that, I was like, I'm not gonna start another company. Like I'm just gonna like study and be around people and be value add. I literally just was offering biz dev marketing, like I would just help people out. And what happened was Ethan, my co-founder, was super smart. I actually built this tool that became Flowtown, but I built it as a tool to help other friends. And he saw it and he's like, we should build a company. I'm like, go build the company. Here's the code base. I actually even took my developer, David, and I said, you and David, go do this. So I tried not to do anything because I wanted to take some time off. But he pulled me back in. And then after we sold Flowtown, I had clarity in my brain. I couldn't turn it off. I would stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning. Lasted 3 months at the acquirer. It was so crazy of a turnaround that when I told the CMO, because the CMO was the kind of the champion that bought the software, Rick, the CEO, obviously like he's the owner and he wrote the check and all that stuff, that the CMO almost physically attacked me. He's like, you knew you weren't gonna stay and this is bull crap. And I'm like, no, it's not. I just can't help it. And like, I was the guy that would say things like, you have to follow your passion and like, quit your job and pursue your dream. So here I was with this idea for clarity. And I knew that if I didn't pursue it, like I always believed that the world rewarded courageous decisions. And I remember my wife came out, I was like, well, she was my fiance at the time, Renee, and I'm sitting there in our living room on my screen, I'm wireframing these new flows. It's like 3 in the morning. She's like, are you coming to bed? And I'm just like, oh, I'm just like in the zone, like before kids, I used to stay up really late. And she's just like, I've never seen you so engulfed in an idea. And the next day I just went in and I just like Band-Aid off. I quit, I'm leaving, I'm quitting, everybody, I'm quitting. And Ethan, my co-founder, is like, what are you talking about? I said, I gotta go do clarity. Like if I don't do this, I'm gonna regret it. Dude, you only have to wait 9 months. Like why, like earn out?
You're gonna earn out for.
I had a 1-year earn out. I'm 3 months in and it is a multi-million-dollar outcome. But I already made some money, so it was kind of dangerous, right? Because I didn't need it. But Ethan was like, we just sold them on this thing. We're gonna integrate it and we're in the middle of this. How can you leave? And I'm like, dude, you guys are good. Like do this. And literally the CMO like got up ready to fight me. And I was like, all right, we're gonna fight. Like it was kind of a bananas situation. Luckily he calmed down because I actually, there was no intention, but I just couldn't not do it. So here's the crazy story. I jump in an Uber, I go down to Sand Hill Road and I had this crazy demo because I had met all these investors raising for my previous company. And I would just text them, I'd be like, hey, I got this new idea, you wanna see it? And VCs love that, right? Especially if you're an entrepreneur serial that's made money for them in the past. They're like, you got a new idea, what are you working on, right? Because it's another shot on goal for them. And I would go in and I would tell them to go to the URL. And it was, so it was a marketplace for entrepreneurs to get advice over the phone. And I was like, click connect, it was Facebook Connect. This was the demo of Clarity, Facebook Connect. And they go, now what? I go, now you have a profile, I'm gonna call you. Default their rate to $1 a minute. So then I would hit the button on the public URL and I'd leave their office and I would talk to them through the phone because it would call you and it'd say, you have a Clarity call from Dan. Do you want to accept? Press 1. Decline, press 9. You press 1. It connects us. And then I would go in their conference room and I would talk to them about Clarity. I would do the demo over the phone. And then after like 3 or 4 minutes, I would be like, cool, I'm coming back in. They're like, all right. And I'd hang up and I'd come in. I say, check your email because I got their email from the Facebook Connect. and they had just made $7. And I said, that is clarity. It's the way for social media, influencers, et cetera, to monetize their followership. And I said, I got to go, but I just wanted you to see it first. And they're like, are you raising? What are you doing? And I was like, I got a meeting with Redpoint. I got a meeting with Sequoia. I literally spent the afternoon. I hired the Uber guy. I told him, get off the clock. I'll just pay you $400. Just stay with me. And we went from VC to VC. And that's how within 7 days, I raised $1.6 million in funding for Clarity. Now, so this is why it's crazy. I decided to leave. I ended up raising at like a $7 million pre-money, which is close to the earnout. And it was proof that betting on myself, because that was the bet. It's like, in 9 months, how much value could I create? And is it equivalent? And would it set me up to do something bigger? And I just couldn't say no. I couldn't not do Clarity. So I'm doing Clarity, and it was probably like 3 months after I decided to resign from the acquirer to go pursue this idea. And Ethan, my previous co-founder, calls me. He goes, did you see the news? And I said, no, what's up? He goes, Demandforce, who bought Flowtown, they just got acquired by Intuit for $500 million. I was like, dude, that's amazing. Congrats. Like, that's great for the team and the company and Rick, the CEO. Like, they're really great dudes. And he goes, yeah, but you don't understand. I said, what's that? He goes, in our contract, there was a clause around change of ownership. And if it happened within the first 12 months, everybody's stock vested, you're getting your earnout. And I was like, shut up. He's like, yeah, dude.
Wow.
And I share that story because in that moment, I say stuff all the time. I believe these things, right? You like positive mental attitude of like, you know, the world rewards courageous decisions. But that was like evidence times two. That I did the leap, went to do Clarity, took a bet, walked away, and both still happened. To me, I think that's why I'm so driven to create even more, is because I just have proof that the more the craziest decision to everybody else externally, it looks crazy. If you pursue it and you show it up with tenacity and like drive, I just can't see it not working out.
Thanks for checking out this short clip from the full podcast I did. If you want to see another clip, go ahead and click the link right here. Or if you want to see the full podcast, you can click the link right here and check it out.